Hello, the purpose of us completing the assignment for Chapter 5 is to use Excel statistical analysis tools to format and reorganize our data. We can use these tools such as grouping and subtotal functions as well as pivot tables and charts to gather our information according to what information we are looking for. Prior to taking this course, I actually did not use any of these tools, but after practicing for a while, these tools are very efficient and beneficial to see relationships in our data and removing the need to complete certain tasks manually. The first step in reorganizing our data like so is by hovering over to the data tab, excuse me. And in this case, I want to do a subtotal of my information. Going over to the subtotal tab. But of course you want to make sure that you are selecting the data you want to use. Subtotal. And I want to showcase let's say a status, change in my status depending on the destination. You want to always make sure that you're using a relationship that does make sense. In this case it's already set for me. And there we go. It'll group my information depending on the destination, whether or not it's going to be on time, canceled, or delayed. Secondly, another tool that we can use is a pivot table to group specific information that we need. In order to do that, I'm going to go undo and select the same information. And to insert a pivot table, going over to the Insert tab and using a pivot table. And I can select different ranges and place in a new or an existing worksheet. I'm going to place it in a new worksheet. And before you can go ahead and set a brand new one, you can use this pivot field pane, and this can help you format your information. And in order, let's see, I already have one that's already here for me, and this is it. And I can go ahead and filter my information according to how I want. So I can filter all my information by the departure. I can easily just drag the information depending on where I want to show, like so. The same rules apply actually for a pivot chart as well, except this is how a pivot chart is represented. So you want to go ahead and select the information you want to use, and instead to insert a pivot table, you will go to insert a pivot chart, which I already have here. And then in order to group and organize a pivot chart, the best tool to also include is a slicer. And the slicer basically kind of filters what information I want to be placed here on this chart. Now to include a slicer, you would also go right here, same where in the Insert tab, and go right here to the slicer. And then you can put what information you want to do. In this case, I use the status. And then you can go ahead and filter the information you want to add also in your chart, what you want to specifically use, as well as the same thing in the table to help organize your information.